The red ghost. Yes, you heard it, the red ghost of Arizona. I ran across this story and I can't believe it took me years and years to finally hear about this story, and I have got to share this with you. So yeah, they called it the red ghost, the phantom of the desert. It was born, they say, in the crucible of heat and despair. Legends of the creature are as old as the saguaros here, and it's been passed down among families, around campfires, from the Old West all the way up to modern times today. It was something parents used to use, like a chilling tale, to keep children indoors at night so they weren't wandering around outside at night. And, some of the witnesses said they swore it was a demon or a vengeful spirit come to take revenge on some past crime or wrongdoing that was done. But everybody agreed on one thing: to see it was to invite madness or something even worse. So I looked into the story, and it is based on a true story. It's kind of amazing. So I'll start it with some of the legend. So Old Man Silas was a relic of the frontier, a man whose skin was as weathered as the sandstone cliffs. Looking at my notes here, his eyes, though dimmed by age, held the sharp gleam of a predator. And tales of the red ghost were dismissed by most, but not by Silas. There was a glint of something more in his eyes, a flicker of knowledge hidden beneath layers of skepticism. So one blistering summer, while panning for gold in the remote creek bed, Silas stumbled upon something extraordinary. Deep in a dried-up riverbed, etched into the hardened mud, were imprints, not of human feet, but of something monstrous, cloven feet, red tufts of hair left in its marks. They were larger than any bear paw he had ever seen before, and the distance between them suggested a creature of immense height. Then there was the color. The impressions were also stained like a rust-like hue, almost as if it was bloody. A shiver ran down his spine. So as the sun began its descent, casting long, eerie shadows, Silas felt a presence. A cold dread crept into his bones. He turned slowly, his heart pounding, and in the gathering twilight, he saw it. A towering figure cloaked in the crimson haze. The beast was closer than he'd thought. So this is the beginning of the legend of the red ghost. And before I go on, there is truth to this. So the first sighting that I could find in my research was in 1883. Some old miners, prospectors, villagers claimed they saw this hulking, monstrous, hairy figure with tufts of red hair, and a demonic presence was there as well. And they swore it was toppling their wagons. And even a woman in Eagle Creek, Arizona, which is the southeastern part of the state, was trampled to death by this monstrous thing. Witnesses described its hulking, immense size. And what's interesting about that? There is a legend also in the Southwest of huge hulking giants with red hair. This is important part of the story. So one time, someone who saw this red ghost said, well, that kind of looks like a camel. Well, it is a true story that the U.S. Army in the 19th century had the corps of camels. And the camels would help, pull wagons and help the U.S. Army would have surveyors go out in the desert. So it would help, be the beast of burden, carry all the packs of the corpsmen. And they were used for other things too, similar to horses. However, the horse ranchers here in Arizona and Nevada were not about that. There was a big competition. They didn't like the camels. It was kind of getting involved in their business. And camels aren't really suited for the rocky terrain of the Southwest here, the desert. They're more for like soft sand environments. So it wasn't the most popular experiment. Well, there was another witness sighting that everyone heard about of the red ghost. This happened near the Verde River, and these prospectors shot at it, but they didn't kill it. But what remained, because something fell when they shot at it, and when they ran up to what they shot at, what they found was a human skull with skin and hair remains. Red tufts of hair remains on it. Other witnesses that saw this same monstrous beast said they saw a skeleton strapped to its back. People did say that in the Old West, sometimes criminals or enemies would actually strap their enemies to the backs of horses and just let them go in the desert. This can't be proved. It's more hearsay. And the fact, though, that a skeletal remain was found when they shot at this thing kind of proves that there was a skeleton strapped to the back of this. So witnesses were seeing that, and that's why they thought it was a demon, because there was a skeleton strapped to the back of this camel. So this kind of all came to a head. And I should say, too, other people are speculating who this could have been strapped to the back. They don't know if it was an old miner or prospector. Was it an old soldier that took on a dare? The sightings happened before the Civil War, but the Civil War was going to start soon after that. So this red ghost, this phantom of the desert, was finally caught. So there was an old rancher, and he saw this creature. He shot at it and did kill it, and it turned out to be a camel. And what he found on there was straps that were kind of eating into the skin of this camel. And there was like a few bones under the straps that remained, but there was no full skeleton or anything. But I mean, this camel was out there years and years, and it doesn't take long for a skeleton or a body in the desert to kind of decompose. You wonder if the rider of this camel just kind of got caught up in the straps or somehow couldn't get off this. Like, how are they trapped? I just can't stop thinking about that. This camel just traversing through the desert with a body strapped to it that eventually is a skeleton. How scary would that be, sitting around the campfire? You see this beast, if you've never seen a camel before, kind of in the distance with a skeleton on top. Of course you would think it's a demon or the red ghost. But here's the crazy part of this story. Up until the 20th century, even 40 years ago, people are still reporting sighting the red ghost. So you wonder if it left a little imprint or a ghost behind. Can't prove it. Haven't seen it myself. I didn't even hear the story just until recently. So, it's interesting too, because the neighborhood I live in, I said on another video that my neighbor up the street said he had a miner, like an Old West miner, that was seen walking through his house. So I don't know. I'm going to have to be on the lookout for the camel with the skeleton riding atop it. But I come back to that, the legends of the giants with the red hair. That is a separate story, myth, and legend. But isn't it interesting that people claim that they saw this beast with red hair? You wonder if those stories are kind of connected or got intermingled over time. There's just so many stories of the Old West here that are still unexplained and pretty spooky. So I invite you, the next time you're in Arizona, if you're going to go check out the Grand Canyon or camp out at night, I dare you to stay up around the campfire just after twilight and just kind of survey the mesa and the areas around. And I wonder if you come across the red ghost yourself. Comment below if you ever do. I would love to know. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.